Welcome back to Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy.
Welcome back in, everybody. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy right here on ESPN Radio. So glad you guys are joining us today. Don't forget you can get Golf Talk Radio at iTunes. Subscribe today. Go to golftalkradio.com. Find out the latest what our partners have to offer and upcoming guests and all that good stuff, contests. On the phone with us, joining us right now, we have the vice president and co-founder of OnCore Golf. You can check him out at oncoregolf.com. It's Bret Blakely. Bret, you with us?
I am. How you doing?
Good. How are you this morning?
Doing great.
Great.
Nice and warm in Buffalo, New York. So
that's probably a good thing.
This extended summer.
Oh, nice. Well, Buffalo, I've never been there, but have you guys had the unseasonably warm weather this year?
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of hot right now, but we don't mind that because we're always going to be coming for a long winter.
Yeah.
So we take that and but golf season's seasonal in the Northeast, but it's year round, so it never quite stops, never slows down.
Makes a lot of sense. Yep. Hey, I've got Nikki Anderson. She's a Golf Talk Radio producer in the studio with me. Also, Dave Schmandel from slicksticks.com. Billy had a little surgery that was kind of unplanned for that he had to have on Tuesday, so he's not with us. But we've got Mike and Dave and Nikki here in the house, and we're glad you're joining us here. Can you tell us a little?
I appreciate being on.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that we got it arranged. And can you tell us a little bit about you, Bret, like your background, who you are, before we dive into OnCore Golf and what you guys have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I moved to New York City in 2006, spent a few years there, and that's actually where I met my buddy Steve Colton, and he is the other co-founder of OnCore Golf. So I've been back in Buffalo since 2009. OnCore Golf was established in 2011, but he and I are kind of the yin and yang, and I think is part of the reason OnCore's done really well, and we're a very good balance. I focus on all the marketing and branding and advertising with OnCore Golf, and Steve really is the driver of all the sales and manages, the national reps and the international distributors, and we've just got a great team far outside of just Steve and myself that make this happen, and have made OnCore Golf, what it is today. This is our sixth year, which is pretty remarkable when you consider that the golf ball industry is one of the hardest in the world to penetrate, but we've been able to do so.
That's a tough one to get into, you bet.
One of the questions we had for you, Bret, was, you mentioned that this is your first endeavor together, you and Steve. Out of all the different ventures and different industries you could choose, why the golf industry?
Well, I think for Steve it was a no-brainer just because he grew up playing golf. He played for the NYU golf team. He jokes and says most people don't even know that NYU has a golf team. They're D3, but he grew up around it. I actually did not grow up playing golf. A lot of my friends did, but I was playing hockey and soccer and basketball, and it was one of those things where I was always such a competitive athlete, and because I didn't grow up from a young age playing, my friends that did play, I didn't want to be the worst one on the course. So I guess I let ego get in the way, and I was like, I'll just concentrate on the stuff I'm good at. Now, of course, I golf all the time now, or as much as my schedule allows me. But part of the thing that drew both of us was, for me, I always did like golf just for the pure fact that it's an individual sport. It's you against yourself. I mean, sure, you can play against other players, but it really is, you're always competing against yourself. And I loved the challenge of it. And one of the big drivers for starting OnCore was I grew up with a very diverse group of friends. I was lucky to go to both an elementary and a high school that really had people from backgrounds and, different nationalities, different religions, everything. And so I've always that's been something that I've held very close to my heart. And I think from the outside looking in, I always felt that golf was lacking that, and that it was kind of synonymous with a lot of the things in society. And I was like, this could be a really interesting challenge. For one, it's in the sporting industry, which I do love. and I've really fallen in love with the sport itself. But I also felt like this could be an opportunity to bring a totally different ideology and kind of brand personality to the sport. So those are two of the things that really, I guess, were the main motivating factors for choosing the golf ball industry to try and make a go at.
So you and Steve decided to get together and take on this venture with OnCore Golf in 2011. You probably had a certain goal at that point when you when you started. What's the vision now? What was your ultimate goal for getting together? What did you guys want to do with OnCore Golf?
I think when we started, it was really about when we first started discussing it in 2009. Even though we didn't launch until midway through 2011, when we first talked about the idea of starting a company, I think we looked at it as we wanted to just be in control of our own destiny. The job market had tanked. Everybody was looking for work. I mean, I was taking bartending classes. I was personal training, doing things that, I normally never even thought of. And, but we did see it as, let's just make a business that is truly different and stands out. That's how we felt we'd have success. We knew that golf was dominated by these billion-dollar Goliaths, and so the only thing that we'd be able to do to even have a chance would be to differentiate ourselves, both from a technology and innovation standpoint, but also from just a company personality standpoint and what we stood for. So, it's when back then we always dreamed of, man, I can't wait for the day that we have a player on tour using the ball. I mean, that was the goal. It's 6 years later, and now we have players, starting to play the ball on the web.com, on the Symetra.
Really?
LPGA and PGA are going to be coming up this year. So it's been a really calculated, I think, and strategic rollout for this company. We started it by making a ball that was a radical departure. In fact, the most radical departure from core composition and construction that had been seen in over 30 years. And so we thought, let's start the company by making a ball that can really alleviate some of the frustration that all golfers feel, but especially newcomers to the sport. As many people join the game of golf each year, there's 3 million that leave because it's tough, it's time consuming. And so we felt like, let's make a ball that really is going to maybe keep some of those young golfers in and reduce some of the barriers to longevity and enjoyment of the sport. And so that was our hollow metal core technology, which is the most accurate ball on the planet that is on the USGA conforming list. It's about a 20-30% tighter shot dispersion. But, once we did that and spent 2 years battling with the USGA and eventually overturning their 2 rejections of it, and becoming the second company in history in 100 years to get them to rewrite the rules to allow a new technology in. Once we did that, was kind of the first aha moment. Like, okay, we've got a viable business because now we're on the conforming list, and now we can start developing other golf balls for other skill sets and different demographics of the golf world.
So joining us again, we have Bret Blakely. He's the vice president, co-founder of OnCore Golf. You can visit online, oncoregolf.com. So based on what you've said, you guys then own all your patents and everything because you built them from scratch. Like there are a lot of golf ball companies, and we've seen a lot over the years, that startup golf ball companies that used patents that were maybe, say, thrown away by some of the bigger manufacturers, and then they've had some success, and then the bigger manufacturer comes back and shuts them down.
Right.
So do you guys have all your own patents, and you guys did this from the ground up?
That's right. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Good for you guys.
Our whole company,
that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, our whole company has been really built on trying to become the innovators from core to cover. From a technical standpoint, leading and producing the highest performance and best-in-class golf balls, and being grounded with the intellectual property to make sure that we're the only ones that can do what we do.
Bret,
and that's allowed us to really create a nice little home for ourselves within the industry and allowed us to survive. I mean, I look back at 95% of the companies that we, remember being at the first PGA show we attended that were newcomers, outside of the big names. Nearly all of them are gone.
Exactly. That's so true.
Most don't last.
We see that every year, Brett, that we go to the different shows.
Oh, yeah.
And what's amazing,
especially balls.
Yeah, and what's amazing is how much you got to love everybody's passion. It's amazing some of the stories, how much people put of their own resources in, and how many don't make it. It's that's why I asked you originally in the first question. Like, I'm thinking, you and Steve have your first venture together, and you're like, let's choose golf balls. It's like that probably wouldn't be on the top of the list, but. And I don't want to cut you short here either, Brett, but I wanted to ask you about, you guys have the new ball, the Elixir, because we were talking about the golf ball, and I do want to get to that if we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So go ahead. You've got the Elixir, you've got the Avant and OnCore Gold and the Caliber, but I know we've got the Elixir with us here in the studio, and I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, you got it. So after we got that USGA conformance, it was such a historic, victory within the industry, and the fact that none of these big companies had been able to push through and get such a unique innovation passed, we were able to get the attention and recruit two of the best golf ball engineers in the industry. They are responsible for the majority of the construction and design of all of the big guys, many of the big guys, top balls. One rule of thumb is we don't name by names or call others out, but you can imagine. I mean, you look at some of the top performing balls by the biggest companies in the world. They had the majority of the design and engineering came from them. So when they saw what we did, they almost couldn't believe it and decided that they wanted to be part of this. They felt like this was a company that could truly pioneer something new within the industry, and they wanted to help us bring that vision to life, which for us was paramount, because we wanted to not be a one-trick pony. We wanted to make sure that we did have a golf ball for not just the beginner golf or the guy who really needs help with accuracy. We wanted to have something that was a beautiful low-compression golf ball, but the one that we've been building up to for the past 6 years was the Elixir. So the Elixir the design started over a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and the engineers, their instructions were very clear. You guys have built the best balls in the world. We need you to build the best ball in the world. They know the competition because they built the competition. So they spent tons of time, and we actually had 4 versions of what is now known as the Elixir going back to last fall, and just kept doing the testing and fine tuning. And March 1st was the launch of our first tour ball, and it has literally catapulted us into the stratosphere. We've had very impressive, I think, growth over the years with almost no resources, especially compared to the big guys. And for us to be able to develop a ball that is not just as good as other tour balls, but has been described as the holy grail of golf balls, that has Hall of Famers like Mr. 59 and just countless pros all over the place saying this is the best ball I've ever played.
Wow.
is enormous. So we made the Golf Digest hot list. We actually had 3 web.com guys switch mid-season, which, as you know, is unheard of.
Wow.
Players do not make equipment changes mid-season because they need to get used to it. It's going to, every ball and every club, they hit differently. They're going to give you different performance benefits. And the ball was so good that, a few of these guys mid-season made the switch and coincidentally had the best rounds of their careers in the last 2 years once they started playing the ball. So it's just been a whirlwind of utter praise. I mean, we've never seen a response as far as the reviews from people. Everything is 5 stars out of 5 stars on our website. It's
Wow.
just been so exciting to see golfers of all skill levels really come to appreciate the unique nature and just high-end performance that this ball creates. It's one of those things where you have a lot of companies that have tour balls, and one is good off the tee, but it's not great around the greens. Another is great around the greens, but it's not a trampoline off the tee.
Right.
The innovation that we put into the Elixir has created both a trampoline off the tee, extremely high moment of inertia, the highest velocity of any golf ball on the market, and also an extremely soft feel around the greens. So it's something that we're extremely proud of, and it just keeps. I mean, the momentum has not even slowed down, not even a glimpse.
Wow. I think, Dave, did you have a question you want to ask?
Yeah, I gotta ask. Buck in the USGA, that's a tough nut to crack. And
Sure
I just got to ask, what was it that they were not allowing, and then it became conforming? It's just because I know of a lot of people that have worked, or I should say tried to work with the USGA, and they are stubborn as any mule in the world.
Yeah, so when we first submitted it, like I said, it featured a 0.9-inch hollow steel core. And, the first time it was rejected, we got the rejection letter within like 3 days, and we know the testing takes at least a week.
Wow.
And so basically it was rejected based on the way it looked. It was such a radical departure that, it was like, no, we're not going to let anything like this in. And we said, well, listen, it meets all 5 quantifiable metrics, not understanding how this could possibly be rejected. How about you at least test it? And then the rejection the second time came based on a rule that they added in 2008, which is the only subjective rule, and that was it has to be of customary and traditional form and make. Well, that's a little wishy-washy, because then at their discretion they can decide what's customary and traditional. So we pointed out the fact that there had been steel in golf balls. In fact, there were 13 on the conforming list in the 1960s and 70s for Max Fly
that goes way
that
back.
had solid steel cores. So they did nothing for accuracy. It was much more about just a marketing edge. But point being was the materials had been used, just not in the same manner, and that was on the conforming list. But the thing that really drove it home for us, and I think won us the argument, was we pointed out on our last slide when we were battling, and it was when the Nike resin ball came out.
Yes.
And in their marketing, it said a hammer blow to tradition, never before used materials in the core. So we said, how is this on the conforming list and we're not? Essentially, that could be considered a restraint of trade. So what we were able to do was, point that very nice fact out. And 11 weeks later, the Executive Standard Committee wrote us a letter and wrote it to all the golf ball manufacturers stating how, for the first time second time since I believe it's 1926, they were going to rewrite the rules. And now rigid cores of 0.9 inches or smaller, we're going to be deemed conforming by the USGA.
That's such a great story, Bret. I wish we could keep you on. We're running out of time. I got like a minute left. Big question. Obviously, listeners can get the golf ball at the website at OnCoreGolf.com. Are you guys available at any other locations, or is it online only?
No, we are. We have 34 national reps around the country.
Nice.
We do have a store locator on the website, so they can find out if there's a pro shop near them. Of course, that green grass penetration is growing daily. We have international distribution in over 20 countries, but online is a surefire way, no matter where they are, to be able to get it. Ships same day, gets there within 2 days. We got a ball for everybody, but the Elixir is something everyone should definitely put into play and experience for themselves.
I will tell you, Bret, I'm the director of golf also at Paso Golf Club, and you guys just got another account. So I want to bring that in. I want to bring the Elixir.
Oh,
what's retail?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. What's that?
What's retail?
Yeah. What I saw the prices on the website. Is that your retail, Bret?
Yeah. So we do. So online we have it at $40. Most times people don't even have to pay the $40 though, because we have a loyalty program. So every dollar they spend, they get points against their next purchase. But in pro shops, they're typically going to see it around the $32 to $35 range.
Got it.
So it's the highest performance golf ball for awesome. not as much money, and that's kind of what we've been trying to do. That's how we're helping grow the game.
Bret, we got to have you back on again. I'll be in touch with you about the stuff at Paso Robles Golf Club, and we really appreciate your time. Great story, awesome, man. Keep up the great work. It's very inspiring.
I appreciate the platform.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys so much.
Okay, Bret, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, take
Thanks.
care.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
All right, Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy will be right back. When we come back, we're going to draw the winner of the Orange Whip Wedge Contest. Got to thank a couple partners of ours. It's the Patrons Caddy. you guys are looking to cross off that bucket list, the trip to the Masters, for 2018, check out thepatronscaddy.com. Chris Rigby and the crew will get you the best seats in the house, the best Masters experience from picking you up at the airport through the tournament and taking you back. You guys will want to head back after you've gone with thepatronscaddy.com. So visit them today to book your 2018 Masters experience. And also check out the world's #1 selling golf game. It's vegasgolfthegame.com. They've got a new 24-piece edition. You can actually play it at home. They also have a home edition poker game. That's vegasgolfthegame.com. You can call them directly, 877-241-6134. We're going to come right back with orangewhipgolf.com, and they're going to make the drawing for the Orange Whip Wedge winner right here on Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy.
Orange Whip Wedge.
Say that 10 times fast.
Oh,
we'll be right back. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy.